Lawson.
And I'm Mia Adams.
And we are both editors for the OAHS school newspaper, the Daily Olivian. And today we have a very special interview. We are joined by Miss Kelly Cavanaugh, who is the new OA principal.
So starting off with a very controversial question. What is your favorite cafeteria food?
That's a great question. I think it would depend. So one of the schools I worked at had an amazing salad bar, believe it or not, with like every topping you would want, and that was my favorite. But when it comes to like hot food, I would go with chicken fingers.
It's a good choice. Yes. So if you could describe yourself in just 3 words, what would they be and why?
I think the first word I would use is positive. I have a very positive outlook on life. I like spreading positivity to other people, and not that I don't have my moments where I'm down, but for the most part, I really try to create an environment where people feel comfortable, people feel a positive energy when I'm in the space. Second, I would say is collaborative. I very much love listening to other people's thoughts and feedback. I like to reflect a lot, and I like to hear from other people when I'm making an important decision around how it impacts them and what their views are about that. And I definitely see that collaboration needs to involve voices from all different populations within the school. So different groups within the students, different groups within the faculty and in the staff. And then my last one I think I would choose is, I'm going to say kind. I have a kind outlook on life, and I really try to act with kindness in everything that I do.
What sets OA apart from other schools you have worked at or interviewed for?
For me, what really set OA apart from other schools is the community in general. So you are a very proud group here, and I love the spirit of this school and the dedication that both the students and the faculty and the community have to ensuring that every student finds success here at OA and finds it to be a home for them. That was really one of the main reasons that I applied to Oliver Ames.
I know you haven't spent too much time in the school yet, but just sort of from an outsider's perspective, or I guess an outsider for now, how would you describe the culture at OA?
Yeah, from what I've seen so far, which is spending some time in your hallways during my interviews, and I've been to a football game, I would say that you guys are, you seem to be a very supportive environment. Like I said before, you're spirited, you're Tigers through and through, and you're very much committed to your community and your school. I see OA as being a culture that is not very diverse, and so we need to talk a lot about diversity. I would say that it seems like an incredibly caring culture. People really look out for each other and want to make sure that everybody has a group of people that they trust and that they feel like they belong here.
What will you do to uplift the voices of OA's marginalized communities?
So I think first I need to do a lot of listening, and you're going to find that from me as a principal as I enter in July and then into September when I see the students, is that I want to hear from the different marginalized groups in terms of where their voices have been heard in the past and where they feel like they haven't been heard. And then ensure, so when we talk about like diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging, diversity is the makeup of the group, right? And then inclusion is who you include in those conversations. And so what's important for me when I want to hear voices of marginalized group is that when I have a group of students at a table to talk about something that we're going to either plan at OA or a decision we need to make, that group is diverse and that it represents the student body, regardless of whether or not it's a high population group or a group that's smaller in population in terms of demographics of the group.
Believe it or not, it's pretty hard to believe, but you are actually the first woman principal of OA. So how do you feel being the first woman in a role that has been filled by men for all of OA's history?
I feel proud, very proud. I truly believe that that women need to lift each other up into leadership roles and support each other. And so the opportunity to be a female leader in OA and support the young women in this school in becoming leaders as well is really energizing and exciting for me. And I don't think I knew that when I got the job. So you guys just taught me something new. Very good, thanks.
The following questions will relate to mental health at Oliver Ames. First question is, what do you think about students' mental health at OA in general?
Yeah, I think mental health in general is, it's so important that we as a school not only address, the academic and the athletic and performing arts, like all of those needs that you have, but we need to support you guys with your mental health. And it's been a really challenging year. And so for me, making sure that every student has a trusted adult or somebody that they can go to and speak to about any signs of depression, anxiety, or just feeling down and needing some support, I think that's an essential part of a high school, is just making sure that every student has somebody to go to.
Yes, students over the past year, as you mentioned, have reported feeling bogged down by intense workloads and little social time. Mm-hmm. What is your plan to combat this disturbing trend?
Yeah, I think that the first step is, like I said before, and I know I'm going to sound like a broken record, but it's listening. So I do want to survey the students when I start, and I want to hear from you about that, about your workload, about what life is like as a student at OA. I think that the social side of things is challenging because we're living in a world where it's really challenging to socialize, especially indoors, right? So if there are ways that the school can provide opportunities for students to engage socially, safely, I think that would be a great step to support the increase of social engagement. I think I answered your question, yeah? Okay, good. Yeah, great.
So OA is very well known for its sports, clubs, other activities. For example, as you're walking the halls, I'm sure you've noticed the beautiful murals by the OA Art Club. So how do you plan on keeping the organization's essential part of OA culture?
How do I plan on keeping the organization's, these...
Yes, clubs and sports and out-of-school activities.
Yeah. Oh, but they're essential. They're essential, right? So I think that it seems like, from what I can tell, you guys have a great list of clubs that students can join. I mean, the athletics, the performing arts program, the visual arts program. I support it by being visible and attending events that you guys have, attending sporting events and art shows and performances. And making sure that I'm supporting the growth of those programs, working with students to hear about maybe new ideas that they have and ways that we can expand the clubs and activities that we offer to ensure that every student can find some niche, some place where they feel a sense of belonging here at OA. And then, from a principal's perspective, there's a lot of things I need to consider, in the sense that, like, being visible, like I said, but also budgetarily and hiring people and making sure that we have the supports in place in order for these clubs and activities to continue, and that's part of my role.
I think that's great. How do you feel your past experiences working as vice principal or teacher will prepare you for this job?
Yeah, I think that for me, as a special education teacher, I had a very big caseload of students, and it was my job to make sure that I met all of their individual needs in different ways. And the way that has helped prepare me for this role, in the sense that everybody's an individual, and that me as the principal needs to help create a culture where everybody finds their niche here in the school. And we support them with their learning, with their activities, athletics, in a way that meets them where they're at as a student and helps them to grow, so that they learn the skills and stuff that they need to be successful outside of OA. And then as an assistant principal, I've learned just so much about high school administration, the kind of the boring stuff, but also the fun stuff about how to plan events, how to support students in increasing clubs and activities and celebrating their successes. I've worked with discipline and been on committees that make decisions for the high school at large. So a lot of those experiences are going to play right into supporting my transition into the role of principal.
So I know this year has been pretty crazy for everyone, and OA has been forced to come up with new and innovative solutions to new challenges. But do you feel that elements of remote learning, for example, Chromebooks, Google Meets, free lunches, will continue in any form in a normal year?
Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see. What I would say is that, I think that, I know that we are going to live in a world where we're going to need a Chromebook. We're going to need a device, right, for the rest of our lives. I think that most of the job and career paths are just being able to shop and respond to emails, right? So that's not going to go anywhere. And then in terms of the free lunches and all of the other things that have come with the remote learning, I think we have to kind of wait and see where this pandemic takes us. What I would like to think is that there are good things that we have learned in this pandemic. There are skill sets that we've learned. I think that we've become a more empathetic culture, and my hope is that the positives that we could find in what we've been through in the past year will continue.
That's a good outlook. Last question. What is your philosophy when it comes to discipline?
Yeah, so for me, when a student makes a decision that goes against our handbook or was a bad choice, the response has to be something that helps them learn and change their behavior. And that is my outlook of discipline, is that when we respond to a decision somebody made that was disruptive to the environment or unhealthy or unsafe, we need to listen, we need to learn, we need to help the student learn from the choice that they made, and whatever discipline is put into place is something that helps to then change their behavior in the future.
And that is all of our questions.
Wow, thank you guys.
Thank you so much for joining us. And I know I speak for all of the OA staff, parents, students, saying that we are excited for you to be our principal for many years to come.
Thank you guys very much. I really appreciate it.